Yeah, if you want to see what happens, if you want to jump in.
Because you have twins, so they say, well, if you can do it on camera basis, because they would become children, that's the way it goes. You touch your experience that, you know.
Now I'm muting.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to explain it.
Hello, councillors. Just to say that the sound has now gone on the recording system, so just be careful that you've got that recording now. In the absence of Councillor Wiles, I'm going to step in and chair it until he either does come to the meeting, or if he doesn't, I'll just continue until he does. So that's okay. So good evening, councillors, and welcome to the Sandwich Town Council Finance and General Purposes Committee. I'd like to start off with agenda item number 1, which is apologies for absence received. Do we have any apologies?
We have apologies from Councillor Green, who is on holiday.
Oh, super. Thank you. Item number 2 is declarations of interest, and this is to receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of the business to be transacted on the agenda this evening. Does anybody have any declarations of interest to declare?
Yep.
No, that's a nil return for that one. Thank you. Item number 3 are the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee, and this is to receive and approve the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee held on the 19th of February 2025, and this is to consider any matters arising from those minutes that are not covered elsewhere in this agenda, and this is attachment number 1. So we have Councillor Chuka first. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, so going through the minutes, there's a number of actions that we agreed, and I think the majority, if not all of them, have not reappeared, and some suggested they should. So if I could just draw them out. The first one under the FGP 0225.5, and that is the very last section. It says the following comments were captured during a short debate. The net margin on the market needs to be understood, and a report was requested for the next committee meeting. Well, that's not here this evening, so I don't want that to be lost. I think it's important that we do have that. Going on to FGP 0125.6, third bullet down, it was agreed that there should be a priority list created for the property manager for the April committee meeting for members to consider. Well, that's fine. I just want to make sure that's been progressed rather than us getting caught out at the next meeting that it doesn't appear. Okay. An action to be added to the log for the RFO to explore interest-bearing accounts. So that was the 4th bullet. So I'm not sure if that has been looked at yet.
I have started looking, but I've come across a few obstacles. For example, one of the accounts that I wanted to pursue, you couldn't have an account unless you already had an account with that bank. And there were other hurdles, such as they don't provide accounts for town councils. So I'm still going. I'm still looking at it. Yeah.
Okay. So not lost sight of that one. And then the last bullet there is town clerk to follow up on action FGP 0124.5 that relates to a piece of land that adjoins a car park with Fellowship Walk due to recent events and activity on the site. Well, we do know there's been a lot of toing and froing on this. I don't know whether the Mayor would like to talk to that action, but either way, it was an action we raised last time.
That's right, that's correct. And I have been following up on this because there had been no or seemingly no action from Dover District Council planning or enforcement, but in fact a member of the planning enforcement managers got back to me, and she said that they'd actually made 2 site visits, and the works that had been undertaken were not against planning regulations or authority. So at this current stage in time, they're not able to step in and undertake any action against the owner or developer at all. But they said obviously they've been in touch with the developer, and they've told him that if he wishes to go any further with any other action on that site, he will have to submit a planning application, and that's what they've told him. So that is the current situation. Works he's done today do not define anything against the planning regulations, but if he does take anything further and starts putting down what are called oversights or foundations, then obviously he would need a planning application for that.
FGP 0125.8, the final bolded statement, we've got an update on it, says that this related to holiday lets, arrangements for booking and marketing the property are explored. So this relates to Fishergate. Do we have an update on this, or because it's not going to the full town council meeting next week? Yes, and it's not. Well, it's not on the agenda at the moment.
Oh.
Because I'm chairing the meeting and the agenda I've seen doesn't include it.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about this.
No, could you just take that away so we know?
Yeah.
I mean, it may be a late entry into the agenda, but it's certainly not on the draft, the first draft that I saw.
So that's really Fishergate.
Yeah.
Could we have an update on what is happening as to the holiday lets?
Just expanding slightly on Fishergate, we've got a number of steps we still need to go through. It isn't about jumping straight to the holiday let solution in any case, because we have the historic position on it and a potential lease to a third party, which we need to represent, should we say. And then whatever else follows on from that includes this, but maybe other options as well. Maybe including the original option.
Exactly. Indeed.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Careful.
If people going too fast, do say, because you don't normally do the minutes, so I'm just trying to protect you from
My lad.
some people talk as fast as they think, so.
Or even faster.
Indeed, Councillor Chuka's case, that is true. I believe Councillor Black had his hand up.
Yes, I did, thank you.
Speak, please.
Yes, just a minute, I'm still not too familiar with this particular system, having being an Apple user, but let's go into it. Yeah, on the minutes, the last item, referring to the minutes, I don't think that's quite accurate. That says a number of issues were raised by me, they certainly were, about the financial regulations. And I specifically asked that one of them, which is about the role of the Human Resources Committee, be minuted, and I was told it would be. It isn't. And I can, if necessary, go back to I would suggest, rather than the RFO having to plough through all of this, I could drop you a note tomorrow, Karen, as to exactly which paragraph it was, because there's 25 pages of these, but I did specifically ask, and I was told that that would be minuted. I would also endorse the point that Councillor Chuka has made about the net margins, although the RFO and I have been in correspondence about this again, because I asked about the net margin, and you said that it would be something that you might be able to produce towards the end of the financial year. That might be an alternative to that. When you've got the whole picture, I'd be happy either way, but I think it's important we do see what the net, don't want to call it a margin, it's not necessarily a profit margin, but the net income might be a better way to describe it.
Profit, yes. That's correct.
Is that related to that financial regulations item?
No. The financial regulations was a specific item that was not minuted about the role of the Human Resources Committee.
So is this in relation to the minutes?
It is in relation to the minutes because FGP 012512.
Yes.
The last sentence before it becomes bold is, Councillor Black raised some queries which the town clerk answered at the meeting. One of them was specifically about the role of the HR committee, and I formally asked that it be minuted.
Yeah.
And my other comment then is in relation to Councillor Chuka's comment about earlier on about, I can't remember which one it was. Yes, 225.5, which is about the net income from the markets. And again, you and I were in correspondence earlier this week, weren't we?
Yes.
Indeed, that'd be okay.
Okay.
It's the first bullet on the last section of that entry of FGP 0125.5.
Yeah.
It's the first bullet
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Super. Were there any other queries about the minutes for that previous meeting on the 19th? If not, I'd like somebody to propose. Councillor Pennington is proposing the minutes, and Councillor Chuka is seconding the minutes. All those in favour of those minutes, please show.
That's with the amendments, isn't it?
Indeed, yes, that's correct. So,
I wasn't there.
oh, super, thank you very much. So that's been passed. We've got one abstention, which is Councillor Anderson there. Item number 4, public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at this meeting in respect of the business on this agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak together with the topic to be addressed must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting. Did we have anybody?
No, we haven't.
That's super, thank you. So that's on your return as well. Thank you very much on that. Item number 5 are the payment schedules and finances. Unless anybody has got anything specific, I'll be taking items 5 to. Take these on block actually. If anybody's not got anything specific, oh, Councillor Anderson, have you got?
Yes. I think Councillor Fortescue and myself begin to sound like a cracked record, but there is this question of water charges for Boatman's Hill, and I just don't understand. I mean, is this something to do with water being used by people watering the graves of people who are buried in the cemetery? In which case, isn't that a DDC responsibility, not an STC responsibility? Could you explain what these water charges
Well, we
are?
don't have water charges as such, but we do pay standing order
Yeah.
for the tap. So
Right.
there is water on site. As far as I know, no one's using it, but we're still paying for that tap to be there.
And that's a charge, because again, I don't quite understand it. It's 010425 to 310326. So that's somehow a 15-month charge, is it? For having that tap there. It's item 1510.
It's for 200.
Well, it's 1st of April 2025 to 31st of March
So we're
2026.
paying in
It's one
advance for
financial
next year.
year.
It's a financial year.
Yeah.
I had an associated question with that because I just wondered whether we've, and whilst it is small in amount in comparison with the overall budget, if a tap is not being used, if no water is needed, why do we have a water
Yeah.
supply? And if cutting off the water, I don't mean as dramatic as that, but stopping having a water supply, is that feasible? And if so, does that mean there's no costs incurred in terms of stopping? It's pointless having a tap that's never turned on.
Yes. Though it may be.
Well, it may be.
I mean, people may be using it.
We might have to refer that to the property manager if
Yes,
that's okay,
that's a
because
good
actually,
Yeah.
with that matter,
Yeah.
I have some good news is there is possibly somebody that may be interested in taking over the chapel.
Okay. Don't turn the water off.
So we won't turn the water off. I'm not saying they will be.
No.
I've just said we've had a inquiry as to the use of that building, and so until that inquiry has been investigated,
Yeah, we can still, property manager can still investigate.
Still
the
investigate.
feasibility.
the tap at that time. That's okay. So unless anybody
I
has,
just
oh, do you? Sorry.
It's not a specific piece of detail, but we touched on it last time. This time there's a number of agency-related payments, and I was just going to propose if the chair was here, and obviously you can decide this in his stead, whether we need a report to this meeting about the whole solution of the agency effort versus the permanent staff. What we're looking at is just amounts coming through, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable knowing if we had permanent staff doing that, what would that cost be versus the costs that we're incurring for this?
That's right, indeed, and I can reply to that.
Oh,
So when the previous caretaker left,
Yeah.
I think I told the council that instead of diving straight in
Yeah.
and recruiting somebody else and going through similar scenario, as it were, I asked if the property managers could do a cost analysis on a one-person FTE with on costs against having somebody agency just to do the hours when we need them. And the property manager came back and there was quite a considerable saving of just having the agency staff doing the hours when we need them. So the caretaker would be working for us, would be 37 hours a week, would be reporting to the Guildhall whether they had work to do or if they didn't have work to do. The property manager said if we continue down the agency route, we can just employ members of staff to do the work when we need them to do the work. And also the agency staff, I'm trying to put this in the right vein, are more flexible about working evenings and weekends.
Yeah.
So it was seen to be a win-win situation to undertake the agency. I can't give you the exact figure, but it was like saving of say like £8,000 or £10,000 a year if we continue doing the agency route.
So that's really good if that has been done
Indeed,
already.
it has.
What I would want, I think, is that to be turned into a report to actually have it transparent that is the case, because then we can all say that makes sense.
Indeed.
Because there are other issues other than just the cost. You touched on some of them, but actually the flexibility is important.
That's right.
The ability to turn, can I use the same analogy again, the tap on and off is also very helpful.
Exactly.
But without a piece of paper, a report that this committee can look at, we're relying on just the conversation you've had with
of course, indeed, that's not a problem. Councillor Pennington?
Yes, thank you. I do recall a proposal coming to full council, and I think it was referred back for HR committee to.
You're right, it did come to full council, it did actually, so, and the amount that was predicted to be saved came to full council, so we have.
So we think we've had.
We have seen it,
maybe articulated. Okay,
Yeah.
well, if that's the case, I'll dig
Could
it out.
I ask Karen if possibly yourself
I must have
or
read
the
it.
assistant town clerk could perhaps look to see or speak with the property manager about the use of agency over the use of FTE members of staff if possible. So thank you very much on that, that'd be really useful.
Well, we get to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, especially when people are away on holiday and they switch off for a week.
Only a week.
Mention no names, so I'll just read through them. 5A, to receive the Sandwich Town Council payment schedule for the end of February 2025. 5B is to receive the Sandwich Town Council payment schedule for mid-March 2025. 5C is to receive the Sandwich Town Council payment schedule for payments that missed February 2025. 5D is to receive the STC bank account reconciliation for February 2025. 5E is to receive the STC cash book statement for the end of February 2025. And 5F is to receive the STC budget variance report for the end of February 2025. I'd like to propose that they're all accepted. Councillor Schuker is seconding that. So all those in favour, please show. And that's passed by everybody. Thank you very much, councillors. Item number 6 is priorities, terms of reference, status, action log and F&GP committee update, attachment number 3. And the town clerk is to share the update for F&GP committee members to note the update, and a decision is required on this. Okay, so this is the action log. Did anybody have any issues to raise about the action log? Councillor Chuka.
So I suppose the top level request would be that we do a proper review of this at the next meeting. What's driven that for me is that I can see on there FGP 06245, so that's from June last year, when there was a working group to be formed to review the risk register, to which I volunteered, as did a few others. We're now in March. So the expectation of a September review did happen, and obviously it's been caught up in the weeds. So there's a specific there, but I think there's a general question. It would be good to go through this in detail next time, and then we can decide the priority of these again.
Definitely.
And the action, obviously.
Of course, yeah, that's the most important
Yeah.
thing of all. Thank you for raising that. So, did anybody else have any other queries over the action log for the F&GP committee?
Silence.
No silence. I'm happy to propose acceptance along with the amendment that Councillor Chuka has put forward. Is anybody else prepared to second that at all? Councillor Pennington is seconding acceptance of that. All those in favour of the action log, please show. And that's been passed. Thank you, councillors. Item number 7 is the Monkswall Nature Reserve Management Plan proposal. And this is the town clerk has share a report that details a proposal from the Monkswall Nature Reserve Warden to update the Monkswall Nature Reserve Management Plan. The proposal is supported by the Monkswall Nature Reserve Committee and recommended for approval by full council. And this is attachment number 4, but a decision is required by this committee. Hopefully you've all read this. And I'll just say before coming to Councillor Chuka that because, I mean, it's a 5-year plan and the recommendations that have been put forward seem very professional and correct, I would actually be in support of this for the small consultancy fee that's available there. So, Councillor Chuka, did you want to speak?
It was more a question about governance. So the nature reserve is a ring-fenced budget. We have visibility of it in this committee, and that's fine. But I was just going to question the added value of it coming here before it goes to the town council, because whilst you're on that committee, the rest of us aren't, and I don't really see what the value is. I looked at the terms of reference for this committee, for the Monkswall Nature Reserve, it doesn't make reference to this being a step in their process, unless the finance officer has an alternative view. I don't see the value of it coming here to then go to STC.
Indeed. Councillor Pennington,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Councillor.
I was at the Vauxhall Committee meeting where we discussed this, and we understood that with no power of delegation in the terms of reference, that it would need to come here. It would need to go as a proposal to full council from here. But I mean, I don't know quite what the rules would be in this case, frankly.
Well, we've
I certainly think the management plan is overdue. The last one seemed very good, it's not long, I mean, I got it here. It's just an important framework to guide the work of the warden and those working with him.
And as said, they have the delegated authority to spend, so, but the town clerk has put it onto this agenda, so,
So I'm not arguing against it being here today, but I want clarification as to the value in terms of governance as to why it comes here, rather than the committee itself, which is Your Honour's.
that's indeed.
Councillor Pennington makes a decision, and it's got to go to the town council in any case for its final decision.
It has. Councillor Black.
I think endorsing what Councillor Tucker has said, I appreciate if there's a bit of confusion, then it should be sorted out, because I don't think many are able to add any value to it.
No,
The sum is pretty minor considering the reserves they have,
exactly.
and it's a bit of a no-brainer to. So I'm quite happy that we move it on.
Yeah, let's.
In the absence of the town clerk,
Yeah.
though, the town, I don't think she would have put it onto this agenda unless there'd been a reason for it. So I think it'd be prudent if we did vote on this.
Yeah, I'm not arguing against voting on it because it does no disservice to vote on it.
No,
Because
exactly.
it's still going to go to the full town council.
Town council.
Shall I propose a vote on it then?
Indeed, yes, please. Thank you.
We accept this report as it is.
Thank you very much. Councillor Black is proposing it. Councillor Tucker is seconding that. All those in favour? Thank you. And that has been passed. Thank you very much for those comments. So that is a very valid comment. Thank you for that, Councillor Tucker. Item number 8 is the VE Day event and the expenditure from budget request. And this one is the town clerk's share report that details proposed expenditure for the VE Day 80th event following agreement in the budget setting for £3,000 in the 2025-26 budget, starting from the 1st of April 2025. The committee is asked to support the expenditure and recommend it for approval by full council. This is attachment number 5. This is something whereby, to tell you the truth, this is a major, well, it's a national event that's happening in this country, and nearly all councils are actually, celebrating this event, making an effort to celebrate this and put something on for the members of the public. This, I see, is one of the essentials that we need to have on behalf of the public. We collect the council tax in for the public, and this is an event that the public will want to attend. So from my point of view, I think it's very valid that we set aside a budget for this. And I'd just like to say on record that I'm very, very grateful for Councillor Mallet stepping up and organising these events to put them on for that weekend. So I'll shut up now and let anybody else speak who wants to speak. Councillor Anderson first of all, and then.
Yes, I will thoroughly approve of this, but I just wanted to tell the committee that the Wiener Library, which owns and manages the Leave to Land exhibition, has said that they will allow Sandwich Town Council to acquire a free copy permanently of the exhibition. So they will be sending the the text and the images which go on those big banners
That's fantastic.
for no cost
That's fantastic.
to us. And the cost that I think Simon's put in, the council manager's put in here, £250, I think that must be the cost of printing it off in the first instance.
Oh, I see.
It's
yeah,
not going to
of course.
cost a great deal.
No.
And we were talking about spending hundreds of pounds on transporting it from London and
That's
getting it back
correct.
to them. So we are actually going to acquire
That's excellent.
a rather important artefact for basically very little.
Very little. Thank you
On a
very
permanent
much.
basis.
Thank you for that update, Councillor Wilson. That's very important. Then I have Councillor Black and then Councillor Chuka.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this is just speculation. I wonder if it's going to have to come back again because the issue of Dover District Council seeking quite a substantial sum for car parking, or for the loss of car parking spaces. I don't know if we've got any more update than the last thing I saw about 2 or 3 days ago in the public domain. But that seemed to be an extra £750 extra and so on. Does anyone have any further information? Is this likely to come back? I'm not opposing any of these things. I think they're very sensible, and if the Bean Library has been able to do that, then that's excellent news. But it's this additional bit we're going to have a close look at, and it's tied into other festivals, as we know.
Councillor Chuka may have an
So
update for us.
I did up into Councillor Mallet yesterday, and it certainly wasn't a hot topic. I mean, it is a hot topic for the 40s.
Yes,
So it's the 40s, which obviously is
it's 2 days before, 3 days
yeah,
before.
separate. So that's a separate funding issue for Councillor Mallet as leader of that event. I don't think, but it is definitely worth asking. I don't think it impacts the VE Day.
Because this is weekday, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's just where it's located.
It's,
So,
yeah.
yes,
Because a lot of it will be here,
yes, here.
which is in parking space.
Exactly.
It'd be useful to get a confirmation,
Yes.
as you suggest.
Yes, worth checking.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
indeed.
we're okay.
Okay, fine.
Just to check that the removal of parking spaces doesn't impact on the actual VE Day celebration. So, but I believe Councillor Chuka is correct. That's what Councillor Mallet had led me to believe as well.
Yes.
I think it's in the Bell Hotel, the beacon on the quay,
Yeah.
and
And the
the,
searchlight.
the parking was, I believe, in relation to military vehicles being on a grass
At the
green.
far end,
Yeah, which is
along the
That's it.
cement with grass.
Indeed,
through it.
that's correct.
Yeah.
there. That's it. Thank you. I'll come to Councillor Chuka and then Councillor Pennington.
I just smiled, and I hope I'm not misinterpreted. So entertainment, Lulu swings. That did worry me a little bit. I hope it refers to a singer from the period.
Indeed.
Can I be assured that
I had a
Indeed.
different business. I can
Yes,
assure
sir.
you.
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, I believe it's the same one that we had
Oh,
at a previous
of
event.
course.
So
Yes,
it's
yes.
the lady that we had at a previous event there. So, and it is for quite a long period of time. She'll be there all day to give entertainment there. So, which is quite good. So, and of course there's the added advantage, something that we're going to have, which a lot of other towns will not have, is the searchlight.
Yeah.
And that's a real unique bonus point for Sandwich having that. I think that's really going to put us on the map as being leaders of the event. I've got Councillor Pennington, then I'll come back to Councillor Black if he needs.
Yes, thank you. I just had a procedural question really. This estimate is £400 below the budget provision. Will this be a final limit, the 2,600, or does it allow the 400 to remain as a contingency?
That's right. Yeah, so what was actually agreed was we had set a maximum budget of £3,000 for Councillor Mallet to use for the VE Day celebrations. As you quite rightly said, this is £400 light of that margin. It is hoped that, you know, he won't need the full amount, but as you say, if there is a contingency, something happens, on the day, or he has an extra expense, then obviously that would necessitate using more money. But his maximum is 3,000. If he doesn't use all of it up, then it is being drawn down from a budget account. So only the amount that will be drawn down will be used. So if he only uses 2,600, then that is all that will be expended on the event. So, and I do know, he's copied me in, Councillor Mallet. He's made very good inroads to the schools to engage with school children to come along to the event, so that they will have that educational enjoyment as well, and that with the council is to give some small memento away, badges and such like, to school children. And I know Councillor Mallet is attending one or two of the schools to explain about the event beforehand, so he's making a sterling effort to put this event on. So, okay, so oh sorry, Councillor Black, sorry.
Just one minor point that may, and Councillor Mallet may already be working with it, but if the searchlight is unique, but we will be able to publicise this in particular, because what the local television stations do and the local papers do is they tend to focus on one town or village for the celebration to represent all of what's going on in South East or in Kent. If we've got the unique thing, is this something that really can be driven forward by Sandwich Town Council in terms of publicity? I'm wearing my tourism forum hat at the moment.
Indeed, of course, I thought you might be. So, yes, so the town clerk had said that we would be publicising the event ourselves,
Right.
through social media, websites, and it will be going into the magazines. So we're having a magazine as well.
So I think just building on what Councillor Black said, I think it's actually an additional step there. I think you're suggesting is actually making contacts
With the media.
I see.
With the media.
pushing what we're doing
I
rather
see.
than just
And
sharing.
in your speech on Wednesday,
That's correct.
why not mention it to the tourism networking meeting? But that would be a good thing. I will of course take my percentage cut now.
Of course.
School Benchian is my name.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that. So that's a note just to go back to the town clerk about approaching the media companies to promote the DE Day. So particularly with having the searchlight, could we promote that so that instead of going elsewhere, we want them here in Sandwich. So, thank you, that's a very good point, Councillor Black. So all those in favour of approving this budget and the works that are being undertaken, I'd like to propose it. Did we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll say.
Oh, Councillor Anderson seconding, and all those in favour. That's all been passed. Thank you very much, councillors.
So we're approving for it to go to council.
Yeah, indeed, that's correct. So, and then item number 9 is temporary delegated financial powers to officers, including emergency. And the RFO is to share a report that seeks temporary delegated financial authority for expenditure for other officers in the absence of the town clerk. This is attachment number 6. So obviously this is, whilst the town clerk is on extended annual leave, this is a factor that, I mean, in case something came up, an emergency or a payment on the Guildhall here, so we had something where we had to call in emergency builders or plumbers or something like that, usually that would be covered by the town clerk for an expenditure of that amount. That, as the town clerk isn't here, we have got that gap which presents itself as a risk. So we're asking for, in the town clerk's absence, that the financial delegated powers that are given to the town clerk are also given to the assistant town clerk and the property manager. And that would be the authority to spend up to £5,000 in relation to the Guildhall, and 3,000 for the chair of the appropriate committee of the town council. So Has anybody got anything to raise?
Just
from the
one
councillor?
comment, I think just in terms of the recommendation itself, I think we need to spell out clearly what we are delegating down here, because we've got two officers. Are we giving exactly, so it needs to be just spelled out very clearly, are we giving them both equal responsibility in the absence of the town clerk, and if so, that needs to be stated. We also need to recognise the fact that the chair of the council or the chair of the appropriate committee is also involved in that process. We need to make sure that's also stated in the recommendation, so nobody goes away thinking
No.
something that
No.
doesn't reflect what we're hoping happens.
Indeed, I'll just clarify that with the RFO, that will it be delegated separately to the assistant town clerk and the property manager? Because it doesn't make that clear in this report. So will the property manager have these expenditure of up 5,000 on the Guildhall,
Yes,
and then
the
the
assistant clerk will have up to £3,000
3,000?
for items relating to Sandwich Town Council, or £5,000 in consultation with the chair of the council or the chair of the appropriate committee.
So that's for the assistant town clerk.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about the property manager?
The property manager will be able to spend up to £5,000 for items relating to the Guildhall.
only?
Okay.
Okay, so that's what needs to be spelled out.
That's
Yeah.
right. So is everybody clear about the delegated authority that we're giving to these two officers? And also just so it's very clear, this will be only whilst the town clerk is in absence. So as soon as the town clerk comes back, this will be rescinded. So, Councillor Black next.
Yeah, to make it simple, just say that the existing arrangements continue, but pro tem, this is delegated to the town clerk, the deputy town clerk, and to the property manager. But otherwise, the existing authorisation arrangement and consultation arrangements continue, and that saves us having to repeat too much. But I think Councillor Trooper is correct. We've got to be clear just what's being delegated. But if you do it that way, it saves the RFO having to write a long minute.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you for that. So, did anybody else have any other queries, Councillor Pennington? No, you okay?
No, I was going to propose.
Oh, super. Thank you. So,
with the amendments.
with the amendments that Councillor Tuke put. So Councillor Pennington's proposing, Councillor Black is seconding that motion, and all those in favour please show. That's been passed by a majority there. Thank you very much, councillors. And item number 10 is the date and time of the next meeting, which will be the 16th of April 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much for your appreciation and your assistance with that committee.